Hello, and welcome. Welcome to the very first Friday Focus. We have our recording in place, so just to remind you, if you are live with us, we are recording, and we will put this recording up onto our session as soon as we have the ability to do so. So that probably maybe later today or possibly over the weekend. So this is the first of our Friday Focus, a new series of webinars and trainings that we're going to provide for all of our customers to kind of learn a little bit more about the technologies in trust. And the very first one we're going to do is around Power BI. And we're going to focus in this 30-minute session on the ability to kind of understand licensing and also to kind of get a bit more understanding about some of the features in there. So we're going to do a bit of a licensing kind of the different SKUs, different pricing options available. And then we're going to delve into some of the features that the different services have, different views of the Power BI deployments have available. So let's get started. We are Power BI partners with the UK. We're also a gold partner in data analytics and data platform for the Microsoft kind of partner systems. I'm Neil Hambly. I'm the Microsoft certified trainer, the MVP. I'm the founder also of Beacon Intelligence, the organization that is providing this training for you. So let's go and do a quick look at what we have in store for us today. Get the licensing plan. So this is going to be the first part of our kind of session today, is all about the different licensing plans there. So if you're familiar with Power BI, you may be aware that there's a few different licensing plans, and we start with what's known as the free Power BI license. This is one that costs you £0 down, £0 every month, and it basically allows you to create reports, but it's for your own consumption. So we have something called My Workspace in the Power BI service, where you can deploy all the reports that you build, but you're the only one that gets to see those. So it's kind of a private zone, and you can put your reports into My Workspace, but nobody else can access those reports. So they're kind of private and secured for you. But that does have some limitations. Of course, one of the limitations there is you can't share that information. So what we do have is probably the most popular license mode out there. One of the original ones was the Power BI Pro license. Now, this allows us to connect to and deploy our reports into shared workspaces. So we can create our report, we can upload that, we can test it, make sure it's ready, and then we can place a copy of that report into a shared workspace. What that means is everybody else that has been granted access to that workspace can access that report, can run it, can interactively kind of work with that report. And multiple people can, depends on their rights, for example, can deploy into that workspace. So you might have a workspace for your specific department, or a HR specific one, or a sales specific one, for example. Now, what that really means is that we can kind of create our reports, share that amongst the others in our organization. Potentially, we do have the ability to also share externally with some invited guests into the AD tenant. We're not going to go into a lot of details about kind of sharing a B2B, business to business, but generally, if you have access to the workspace in whatever mechanism that's been provided for that, you're going to be able to access all those reports that are in that workspace. Now, a more recent development is a premium per user license offer. Now, what this is all the premium features that are also were only available in the premium SKUs before. We're going to go into what that looks like in a moment. Those now are available on a per user license basis. So previously, the price point for premium, yours will see when we go into some pricing in a moment, was a little bit higher than some organizations wanted to pay. That's fine, because most of them wouldn't need those advanced features or some of the capabilities that come with the advanced premium SKU. But there are times when people wanted that and they didn't want to pay you the several £1,000s per month. So they introduced a premium per user license option, which gives you the premium features, but on a per user basis. So you might only have 10 users with the premium per user license mode. So essentially, it's exactly the same as a Pro, but it gives you access to the premium features there. Now, how we get these licenses, generally there's going to be somebody we refer to as a billing administrator or global administrator that will purchase the licenses and make those available through the Microsoft 365 licenses. They basically assign a license to you in your Microsoft kind of E5 subscription. Would already have that, but if you've got an E3, you can also get like a Power BI Pro license added or a premium per user license added as well. So it's basically assigned on a per user basis inside of the Microsoft 365 admin tool. Who can manage those licenses? We have a couple of other kind of additional admins. We have the license admin and the user admin, also in addition to the global admin, that can do the management of those resources there. Okay, so basically managing the licenses, you may have somebody who purchases them, but somebody else may manage those as well. And that's the assignment of licenses back and forth. So that's a quick kind of high level purchase and assignment. Let's go look at what we have a little bit more detail to share with you. So the price, this is one of the first things people want to know, is how much does this cost? So I'm going to go into another slide in a moment, which goes into a little bit more detail, but basically the premium per user, if you're doing a 1 year commitment, so there is a monthly one now as well, but there's usually was a 1 year commitment. The pro license was a £7.50 UK terms for, I think, June 2022. It's through that price for each user. So £7.50 for 12 months. That's going to be £90 for that user to have a pro license and be able to use those Power BI capabilities. There is the addition of the premium one, and there you can see that it's a little bit more. It's 15.10. It's actually pretty much double the price of the pro, but you do get all the additional features. Now there's a little thing, if you had pro, you don't necessarily need to go and buy a complete per user premium. You can buy what we call an add-on, and that will take you up to the premium per user kind of status level for your license. So basically a £750 for your pro. There'll be a roughly, I think, £750 or something of that nature for the add-on, and that roughly equates to the £15 you're going to pay. Again, this is a 1 year commitment, and we're showing the per cap, the P1 per capacity setting here. Again, this is the monthly cost for a 12-month assignment. That is the P1. That's an 8-core deployment of dedicated resources that is only going to be for your tenant. So this is all your reports can run that. Now, there's some advantages to this, is you have this per premium SKU. You can also have a bunch of free users that can utilize the reports in the premium workspace without having to buy a pro license. So there is kind of really a trade-off point when you're going to have a certain number of users that are just consuming reports, and maybe you have them on a free license, but you put your reports in a premium capacity, and then they will be able to access that. I've got some more slides to show kind of the nuances of that as well. So here's a breakdown now of the pricing for the different SKUs and the breakdown. So first off, there is 2 options for monthly. There's a single 1 month option where you pay and you get a 1 month use of that license. And that then is either £9 for the pro or £18.12. This is UK money for the June 2022 current pricing. And the premium capacity would be for a single month would be for P1 4,520.04. So seems to be quite a big jump, but there's a bit of infrastructure there that kind of is quite large. It's an 8-core deployment dedicated to your resources, and there's some additional premium features, of course, that come along with that. Now there's a 12-month option. So if you look at the price in there, the £7.50 per month is going to essentially be a kind of spread over 12 months. So you're kind of spreading the cost there. So 12 at £7.50 is going to give you that £90, which obviously would then be 10 months at the 1 month price. So you kind of get in kind of 10 months for the price of 12, essentially either spreading the cost, either paying for it annually or paying it on a monthly cadence. And again, you can see the pricing for the per user, the premium of 15.10 or 181.20. And you can see also the pricing for the P1 and P2 for the monthly is also a little bit more reduced. So of course, it's like kind of, it's not as much per month if you pay for 12 months of use rather than paying for a single month. So think of pay as you go with your mobile, similar as a contract, you're going to have a kind of better price point. Now, there are some additional larger size premiums. So a P2 and a P1 will come in a monthly or yearly capacity. But the P3, 4, and 5, you can only purchase at a 1 year kind of usage, and you pay for the annual price of that in one go. So it looks like a massive jump, but we're talking about an 8-core to a 16-core to a 32-core to a 64-core. So we're kind of doubling the size of the capacities as we move through those. Okay. So there's some pricing. Again, any pricing that we show here will be validated at the time of purchase. So if the price is changed by Microsoft, then I think they've done a recent kind of reshuffle of prices last couple of months. So we don't expect these to change anytime soon. But this is now the beginning of June 2020. So if you're watching the recording, you may need to check your pricing of that. And these are the recommended retail prices. So for some of our customers, we may offer some additional capabilities in terms of discounts or additional training services that come along with some licensing. Depends on the kind of the packages that they've taken out. And if you're interested in kind of getting a Power BI license review, you can contact us and we will arrange for a short discussion to understand your licensing requirements and then come up with a licensing quote for you. Okay, so we'll give you details of that as well. All right, let's talk about the premium just very briefly before we go into lots of features. So the premium is that dedicated, straight out the door, kind of only for your use or your organization's tenant use. And we can deploy that P1 or multiple P1s or a P2 or P3 or combinations of those. And basically these then are the capacities where we can deploy certain reports and workspaces. So we will make sure that we get good performance. There is an embedded version as well. So the P SKUs are P1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. These are different sizes. But the EM SKU, the embedded SKU, is also available, but you can't purchase them directly. You have to come through a partner like ourselves, and we will provision up that EM capacity for you. So this is really for if you embedded Power BI in applications and the services like Teams and stuff like that, you can do some of those capabilities. You may just want a dedicated EM capacity. Again, the licensing for the free users is kind of taken care of with what we call kind of usage case. So we kind of each time somebody uses a report, it kind of counts as a use, and we have a certain number of those capacity sizes as well. We won't go all the details of that because it's very rare that we do embedded, but if you want to know more about that, you can always contact us and we will give you information for that. Okay. Let's look at the capacity and the SKUs and the size of each of those SKUs. So you can see we go from the EM will be a 1, 2, or 4 virtual core. So kind of think about a virtual machine under the covers, and it's got both what we call front end and back end cores for all of the premium or the EM SKUs. What it really means is some of it's doing the data processing and serving up the data storage, and some of it's doing the front end kind of processing of the visuals. So the front end and back end cores are split to provide that dedicated function. So you can see here a P1 is 8 virtual cores, 4 of those in front and 4 of those in the back end as well. It has 50 gig of RAM associated with it, so there's quite a nice size cache there. And we can do a certain number of live connections or direct connects, as they're called, per second, and we can generate, I think, 30 in the P1. Of course, as we kind of go up to large sizes, we can go to kind of doubling these capacities and throughputs. Essentially, we've got a lot, a double size each time we go up a level there. So we got 6 memory per query. That doesn't change until we get to a P3, 4, and 5. That goes to 10, but generally that will be more than enough. 6 is a lot of memory per query then. And the number of model refresh, the parallelism, the amount of kind of cores that we can run at any time to do the refresh, and of course reducing the latency and time to do that refresh will go up as we kind of get to the larger sizes again. So the parallelism applies to the data sets, and the SKUs are going to be kind of available in a region. So we need to check your region because in UK, we've got UK South, we've got UK West, we've got West Europe, etc. So we've got a number of different regions, but not every region has every option available here. But pretty much most of the major ones do that. Okay. There's additional features in the premium around kind of performance, around kind of scalability, improved metrics, understanding what's there, you know, kind of auto scaling the system, defining priorities of workloads, and lots of stuff I'm not going to go into all the details for, because we literally do not have time today to do all of that. But there's many improvements in what we call the Gen 2. So there was a Gen 1 for the premium. Gen 2 came out a while back, and that has a lot more capabilities. So if you really have a big kind of demand for your Power BI reports, Gen 2 is probably where we're going to go. But also, you know, we can look at the premium per user to get some of the advanced features, but it's not going to be a dedicated capacity under the covers. It's going to be more of a shared capacity with access to advanced features. Okay, so here's some premium metrics, some of the different dialogues and screens that we have in the premium space. We're not going to go into a lot of detail there, but you can see we can track activity, we can understand what's going on, and we can really kind of, you know, hone in on the performance of that. Okay. There's a few different admins available: global, billing, license user, and Power Platform. They really kind of just do either the administration scope in the Microsoft 365 space, or we do it in the Power Platform and there's a few different tasks we can do around those. So you can see here, there's a few more examples of the premium capacity, the embedded capacity as well. Okay. So again, these slides will be available. I will, once we get the recording finished and we have made this available, we're going to put this on our new website, our DataTrain website. The recording will be up there, the slides will be up there, and we'll also be able to take questions directly from you via email as well. Let's go into the features. So we've got about 15 minutes left of the session. We're about halfway through. We're now going to focus on these features. So what I've done is I've created a few slides that give me a breakdown of some of the features of Power BI that helps us understand kind of what's available in which SKU, which capability. To go into each detail of every single one of these would take quite a while. So we're just going to kind of list them out and talk about a couple of them in turn. But what we will do is at some point go and create content later on for some of our you know, future focus sessions, or some other training videos we're going to create that go into more details around some of this. So if you have a specific request for something information-wise, let us know, and we will look to try and create some training around that. So first off, let's kind of look at the core collaboration and analytics capabilities of Power BI, because that's essentially one of the key things that Power BI offers us. It offers us mobile access. We have our mobile phones and services that we can go. So you can see here for the Premium Pro, the Premium per user, and the capacity, everyone has access. So the little dot means that, yes, it's available. The published reports, again, is available in the Pro and the Premium per user. But because we're not kind of really needed that in the Premium, because it's a kind of, we're publishing reports, some free reports, etc. Going to be, you know, users can use that system. It's not kind of relevant to the Premium capacity. Paginated is those kind of scrolling reports, page after page that looks the same with just different data on those pages, kind of typical tabular report type thing. They're called paginated reports. The RDL stands for Report Definition Language, and these come from the SQL Server reporting kind of services kind of example. So we have specific paginated report capability, and that recently has been included in the Power BI service offering. We have consumed content without per user. We need the premium capacity, not the PPU, but the premium capacity. And similar with the on-premises reporting with Power BI Report Server, we need that premium capacity to store and hold that data as well. Okay, so these are the collaboration and analytics capabilities. Let's look at the next section, which is the data prep and modeling. So here we're going to see that there's a slight difference in the model size, the physical size of the model that we can fill up with data. So for the Pro, it's a maximum of 1 gig per data model. So that's the physical file. But when we go to the Premium, or the premium capacity per user options, we have 100 gig. So much bigger jump, and we're expecting kind of much larger data sets there maybe, and that's why we need the premium capacity in order to get the throughput and capabilities there. The number of refresh rates as well has dumped for 8 in a day, so you have an option of choosing on the on the 30 minutes or on the hour to choose what those are. In the Pro, you get up to 8 choices. You can do up to 8 refreshes in a day. And for the PPU and the Premium, you could do every single hour or half-hour increment. So you've got a maximum 48 there, of course. You can see here we've got breakdown of creating reports for the Power BI desktop. That's across all the SKUs. Again, for on-premises reporting, we can create the reports. AI visuals is going to be available, and this is specific AI visuals. So this is something like it's going to be the decomposition tree, for example. It's going to be the different kind of new ones that were added recently. Again, we can go into specific details about those visuals, but there's some advanced options that are only available in the premium capacity, and that's where we start using machine learning. And we're using something like the cognitive services. So if you look at Power BI Desktop and you have a Pro license, some of those features will not be on unless you have the premium per user or premium capacity. So even if you can create the report, you may not be able to deploy it into a standard Pro workspace. You might need the premium workspaces in order to do that advanced analytics. A couple more records here. We got XML endpoint, which is basically the ability to connect to the tablet data streams and connect and read and write from those. Data flows, that's a fairly new thing as well. So we can kind of use direct query and link servers and these different entities. So think about Dataverse and that kind of services, we can use those. And we have a very recent data mart creation. So new features are being added to the Power BI service all the time. There's a monthly cadence, roughly 10 or 11 of those a year, usually about mid-month, and it has a whole bunch of new features. So you can see all of the new stuff that comes out, for example, in June or May or whenever it might be. You can see all the new connectors and capabilities and improvements in the preview sections as well. So some of the new stuff might be in preview. Once it's been embedded for a little while and kind of been used by many people, they might kind of put it in regular use, GA. So that's the data prep, modeling and visualization section taken care of. Let's look at the governance. So governance is basically things around encryption and security, metrics for consumption. We're talking about application lifecycle, so moving from development to test to production. So we've got some of the capabilities to do that in the service now. Makes life a lot easier to generate one report, place it into a workspace like development, and then move it through into the next kind of environments using a lifecycle management system. Multi-GEO deployment, bring your own key. So additional functions that are only going to be available in the premium capacity. One of the things also that they recently added is an auto scale availability. So that P1 has 8 cores. And if you need to add a single V core for just a 24-hour period, you can kind of pay for that extra kind of just uplift in capacity there. There are some maximum storage capabilities or thresholds as well. So that's 10 gig per user, maximum for the Pro. You have like a space carved out for you, and you can go up to 10 gig in storage there. For premium per user and the premium space, you've got 100 terabytes, a massive jump, basically pretty much unlimited really in most people's eyes for the amount of storage that they get. There's additional kind of capabilities that we just highlighted. Which ones are mostly, you can see that these are some additional things that are available when we're talking about a free license. So not the Pro, not the premium per user. Somebody has a premium workspace that they deployed in their organization, and we're going to utilize the free license. So we have premium scenario 1, where the free user with no access to any premium capacity, kind of, you can see there's no option to install, open, favorite, anything. It's just not possible. But with the scenario 2, where the free user is going to be using premium deployed reports, so that in the premium capacity, they've been deployed, they can open those, they can favorite them, and they can download those as well. But they can't create new apps. they can't go to the app source and download. So there's certain capabilities in there that are limited for the free license, which we would expect. There's more here. So for the edit workspace, add endorsements, open in view, read data in storage flows, the open in view and read data are only available in the premium scenario too. Now, look at dashboards now. We have some free capabilities that we're going to start having access to. So for example, I can go into my own MWO stands for my workspace only, by the way. I can add an alert to a tile in my dashboard in my workspace. So if I deploy my report into my workspace and create a dashboard, I can go and add alert, but I can only do it for my my workspace only deployed reports. Whereas if it's in premium, I could do all three of those with a free license. I could interact with dashboards, I could add my alerts, and I could respond to comments. We're now seeing there's a whole bunch of stuff we can do in my workspace only. So there's this workspace that's defined as my workspace. It's got that word. You can deploy into that, and only you can see access to that. Okay, so you can see here we've got save copy, copy visuals, edit, export, etc. All of those are available for reports in my workspace. And some of those, apart from save copy and the create and edit and delete, are available. So we can consume a report, but we can't basically edit it, update it, or delete it as a free user, even if it's in premium. We just kind of read that report and run it. Okay. Global search is available on both, by the way, regardless of where you're putting your files in my workspace or in a premium workspace. So again, we've got a breakdown of some of the different features. For example, the Q&A feature, which is kind of the natural language service. We have use dashboard, add feature, review questions. You can see that some of these are available for our free licensing, and some of those are available just in the workspace. So again, we're doing a breakdown of that, and you can see the information here. And again, when we look at data sets, we can see that we have a lot of use of data sets. If you see an asterisk, by the way, that really means that it's going to be specific users, just you in your workspace, and limited to kind of performing certain actions. So we can see here we have the premium 2 capacity for analyze, and we also have that in the local workspace as well option here. But mostly the data sets are not really available apart from kind of just viewing the reports. You can't really view the specific say page reports, for example, with a free license inside of the premium workspace. With a free license, you would need a pro or a PPU license for that. Again, a few more features to report. We're looking at reports. We're looking at maybe like drill downs. We're looking at comments. We're looking at changing dimensions, analyzing reports. So pretty much if we put that report into a premium workspace and we're a free user, we can pretty much do anything with these reports here. Okay, we don't really have any limitations apart from saving a copy. We can't save a copy of the report as a free user if that report's in the premium space. Again, you can see here there's a few options that are not available. So embed, i.e. publish to web or public, or lineage view are not available for free users, even if the report's in the capacity there. But it's available if you put that report into your own workspace. Okay, so again, some functionality there that's limited for the premium space for free users. And again, you'll see a few options here around sharing reports, exporting it, showing as table. Some of the features and capabilities in that report is there. Okay, and some slicers, visuals. So this is kind of the final kind of one on this report here, kind of showing the scenarios. Okay, and there are some premium features. We're going to kind of quickly just kind of tell you about these, but we don't really have too much time left. So some advanced features, advanced AI, asynchronous review, refreshing, automatic aggregations, auto scaling your compute based on workload, using backup and restore, using the data flows, using what we call deployment pipelines, that kind of lifecycle management stuff. Doing what we call a hybrid, that's kind of augmented real-time data with historical data to kind of get a bit more kind of a real-time right now reporting with new stuff as it comes in. Some of the limitations on model size have been kind of available, can be set. You've got onload capacity for large models, so we can kind of change the model type to a large model capacity to store large amounts of data. And things like page data reports and query caching, storage, streaming flows. These are all capabilities that would also be available in terms of the kind of Power BI Premium. So that, my friends, is the very short and snappy 30-minute webinar, the Friday Focus that we've been able to bring to you today from DataTrain at Beacon Intelligence. And if you need more information, we will be sending out another email for those who attended, and also making this available on our website, and we'll let you know what those links are as well. So thank you very much for attending. If you're seeing the recording, come and join us on a live one next time. We're doing these on a weekly basis, and we will be letting people know what the next item is. I'm going to keep that quiet for now. Let me just escape out my screen. And in here, you can see that we do have the Power BI documentation. We also have something like the certification track that we can provide to the PL300 certifications. And we have many other certifications that we're doing. For example, a week or so ago, we did a DAX in a day training. And I will send you links of where you can go and see the recording of that training as well. Okay, so thanks very much, everyone. And we will see you in the next Friday Focus, and enjoy your weekend. Okay, bye, everyone.